Welcome to the Cozy Fireside View. Hellbent is coming out either in a couple of days or a week, depending on when I'm able to get this recording up. And I thought I would just give a couple of bullet points of things from Ninth House that you need to sort of like remember so that you're ready to go for Hellbent. Our main character is Galaxy Stern. She calls herself Alex. She is a member of the Leigh House who can see ghosts, which are called Greys in this story. And her job is to observe all the other Yale houses as they do magic whatever, to make sure that they don't abuse their power, they don't hurt an innocent, also that Greys don't come in and mess everything up. Her first year at Yale should have been a training year with Darlington, but it was cut short at the end of fall when Darlington was sucked into what we thought was a portal dimension, and it turns out was probably directly into hell, and now Darlington is a demon. Hellbent, of course, is going to be the follow-up where Alex tries to get Darlington out of this hell dimension, even though he's a demon. I have lots of questions about how that's going to work and whether or not a demon can be on Earth, but I guess we're going to figure that out in the next book. Something else we find out at the end of Ninth House is the reason that Alex Stern can see ghosts is she's what's known as a wheel walker. There are other historical examples of wheel walkers that we get a little bit of information from in Ninth House. From what we know, it looks like all of them are women. So that's kind of like an interesting dynamic because the fraternities that are holding like the spheres of power were traditionally held by like white men. And even though now Yale is more modern and there's more diversity both in color and gender at Yale, all of these Yale houses and fraternities have their foundation in that white patriarchy, and they've been going through exploring magic in a way that's very hard on the body, so much so that the reason they let the college kids practice the magic is you can only handle it when you're young, and they're doing the work on behalf of these older members. The whole destructive nature of the magic, and also the fact that we, spoiler alert, learn that each of the tombs that hold the most magic for the frats were built off of murders, sort of says like this traditional stuffy upper crust way to do things inherently abuses people, abuses yourself, causes pain and torment. Meanwhile, this female-led wheel walker situation that we're looking at, like, yes, there is an example of one wheel walker who is doing significant damage to other people, but generally speaking, we have experience with Alex, and while sometimes the Greys hurt her, she hasn't hurt the Greys, and she doesn't seem to have to like sacrifice some of her physical ability or like endanger her liver or whatever to see or interact with Greys. So I'm wondering if there's like some kind of conversation going on between those two parts that we'll get more of in Hellbent. I really do hope we get more in the wheel walkers. I'm also wondering if there's a hereditary component to the wheel walkers, whether that's going to be Alex's father, who was like some kind of mystic dude who spent some time in Alex's mom's life and then just like waltzed the fuck out, or if it's Alex's grandmother will be interesting to me. I know that Alex's grandmother was very important to Alex and was sort of described as like spiritually grounding. So I'm wondering if she actually had the same kind of wheel walker ability and it just like skips a generation now and then. Or maybe even Alex's mom has that ability too and she just doesn't talk about it, or she interprets it a different way than Alex does. And because of that, they've never like actually mentioned it to each other because they're a little estranged. The actual plot of Ninth House isn't just Alex trying to keep these fraternities in line. There is a murder on campus grounds and Alex is trying to solve it. Since both the head of Leafy and lead investigator don't really want to help her with this, Alex makes a pact with a Grey, specifically the Bridegroom, where he will help her get the information she needs from the other side of the veil, and she will solve the murder of his wife because he doesn't think that he committed the murder, even though historically everyone has blamed him for it. I liked the Alex Bridegroom team up way better than the Alex Darlington partnership, so I'm really hoping that the Bridegroom comes back from wherever the heck he disappeared to at the end of the book, and maybe he has some information on wheel walkers for Alex, or maybe he's going to be like the communication person between when Alex travels to hell to get Darlington and the other people who are supporting her back and forth. I don't know, but either of those would be really cool. Also, at the end of Ninth House, Alex's powers have like sort of leveled up in intensity. She can not only see grays now, but at the end she can also hear them. And she's pretending she can't because she's afraid that if the grays know that she can hear them, they'll never leave her alone. But I'm really curious if that's going to be something she can turn on and off at will, or if that's going to be a dangerous ritual, or if the grays are going to find out that she can hear them and shenanigans will ensue. The last thing that I'm keeping an eye out for is I really want Alex to take down all the fraternities and maybe like destroy Yale forever. As far as I'm concerned, those old clubs and societies and stuff are gross and awful, and adding this magical component to them has only made them more corrupt and terrible. Now, I think there's going to be enough going on in Hellbent just trying to get Darlington out of hell, and I assume Leigh Bardugo is going to throw some other wrench in the works, or maybe it'll just be getting Darlington out of hell and trying to get Alex's powers under control. Eventually, maybe in the next book, once Darlington, the Bridegroom, and Alex assemble, we'll get to see her take Yale down, and all of those old fraternities will finally get their comeuppance. And I think those are all the main points if you've already read Ninth House you might want to keep an eye out for in Hellbent. I hope this is helpful to you guys. It's a slightly different kind of video than I usually do, so if you enjoy it, could you go ahead and leave a like for me? And if you got to the end of this, go ahead and leave a bat or a ghost emoji for me in those comments down below. And as always, keep reading. Bye!